Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Even before he'd shot his very first episode of The Young and the Restless, Christian Jules LeBlanc was bonding with the cast members into whose world Michael Baldwin would soon be stepping. My first day on set wasn't to tape a show, it was for a cast photo, he tells, and I was, as I tend to be, talkative. It's worth stopping here to note that despite this interview, conducted in 2022, being about the fact that LeBlanc was celebrating his anniversary on the soap, more on that in a bit, we didn't actually get around to that topic until 45 minutes into our chat. So when the actor refers to himself as talkative, it is both an understatement and part of what makes him a joy to interact with. There is no conversational tributary down which he won't go, and the detours made along the way inevitably involve stories that range from charming to guffaw-inducing. But back to the day in question. I was zipping around introducing myself to everyone, whether they wanted to meet me or not. The As the World Turns vet recalls with a laugh. I introduced myself to the cafeteria lady and probably to people who didn't even work there. And as they're organizing us to take the big group shot, I hear Laura Lee Bell, Christine, saying from 3 rows up, "That boy talks a lot." And I thought to myself, they get me. They really, really get me. Soon after his first episode aired on November 26, 1991, audiences, too, would really, really get LeBlanc, as evidenced by the fact that despite doing some pretty awful stuff during his early years on the show, Michael would eventually become one of Genoa City's most beloved characters. I'd always played the sort of quirky guy, the actor says, and here I was playing some pretty dark material. Longtime viewers will recall that at one point, Michael became so obsessed with Christine that he rented the apartment next door, broke through the connecting wall, and attacked her. I had never done anything like this, LeBlanc remembers. I was being violent toward a woman, and thank God for Laura Lee, because if she'd looked at all uncomfortable as we were playing this extremely difficult material, I would have crumbled. But there was not a moment that she was not game, and she went there with me every step of the way. As a result, this show has taught me that I am capable of so much more than I ever imagined when it comes to acting. Of course, as Michael spiraled out of control, LeBlanc read the writing on the wall and suspected his time on the show might be coming to an end. Crazy doesn't tend to last too long, he says. Michael had grown a beard in prison, and because the Emmys were coming up, I asked if I could shave it off. They were like, "Oh yeah, not a problem," and I thought, oh, guess it might be time to look for a new job. Even as Michael was being ushered off the canvas, co-creators William J. and Lee Phillip Bell assured LeBlanc he'd be back. I was the most loved fired person, and they promised they would be calling me back, he recalls. And though he assumed that was just the Bells being kind, sure enough, Michael was given therapy and a second chance at life. Nevertheless, to this day, the character carries within him that darkness which must remain under control. Michael relies heavily on Lauren to keep that part of him in check, muses LeBlanc. But that part of him can be poked, especially if something poses a threat to the people he loves, whether it's Lauren or Fenmore or Kevin, even Gloria. I often think about Michael's past and the people he hurt. Could there be repercussions to that behavior? There's a history of women he abused during his early days, secretaries at the law firm, for example. Might there be children out there from those relationships? I think it would be interesting to see how the mistakes from his past could impact or even threaten to destroy his future, he adds. How would he cope? How would Lauren cope? How would they, as a couple, face the challenge? Meanwhile, contemplating his longevity with Young and Restless has left him considering just how far he's come. I always wanted to be a character actor, he reflects. I remember someone telling me that of all the actors on the show, I'm the least like the character I play, and I thought, thank God. As to how they're different, he says that Michael is meaner and less patient than I am. But there is, he admits, one thing they definitely have in common. I talk a lot, he laughs. In the script and in life.